Hey guys, welcome back to Say Mojo Homestead. We are so excited because we brought some new animals onto the homestead this weekend. So we've spent a lot of time this week, by we I mean Jeremy, getting the
You've been spending a lot of time in the garden.
Yes.
Yeah. Give yourself a little bit of credit there.
Yeah. Someone had to do the garden. So, but Jeremy has spent a lot of time getting the pen ready and preparing for our new guest on our homestead. However, when he woke up this morning, all ready to go get it, we had a little bit of a setback.
It is morning, and I woke up last night to a tree falling and was pretty sure I knew which tree it was. Sure enough, came out here and it was that tree. Sadly, it's in the pen that we have been trying to get ready for our new arrival today, and it knocked over part of our fence. So yeah, this is what I woke up to. So I've got to get all of this kind of taken care of. So I have got to finish up part of the pen and then get this taken care of today because they're arriving today.
Okay, so we have been working on getting all of our bedding in and fixing an enclosure for some new guests at the homestead. So now we can finally tell you that we are getting pigs!
We're getting pigs! Alright, so we are out here at the farm to pick them up. I am just waiting on him to pull around here to help load these guys up. But I wanted to show you these cute little piglets. I gotta keep an eye out because he's got one pig that actually got out, and I mean, she's not interested in me. I'm not worried about her, but she is caked in fresh mud and I really don't want her to come rub up on me. But anyway, let me show you these guys. So here's all these little babies hanging out. So there are actually some of these in here that are about, I guess they're 11 weeks old now, and then the ones that we're getting are about 9 weeks old. So some of them are a little bit bigger than the others. But yeah, they are some cute little guys. So we'll talk about the breed that we're getting. He's got Mangalitzas, and also Berkshire. And we are actually getting a cross between the two, which we are hoping will give us the best of both breeds. The Mangalitzas are great lard pig. You're going to get a ton of lard off of them. And then the Berkshires are an old world pig, meaning that you're going to get a really good meat quantity off of them, but they've also got a lot of marbling in their meat, so you've still got a lot of the lard. It's not a real lean meat, but it's also not overly fatty. So I'm hoping by getting both of those mixed in there that we'll still get a good lard content without sacrificing a lot of the meat that you tend to lose on the Mangalitzas. They also grow out about at the same rate as a Berkshire, so they're going to grow out faster than Mangalitzas do. So today we are going to be putting up the electric fence. Now, I do have most of the insulator supports already in place. I will be attaching the T-post as I go, the T-post insulators as I go. But yeah, so I just wanted to point out a couple things before I get started. We initially, when we put up this pen, we weren't really thinking that we would do electric. However, I don't think that that would have made a difference in what I'm about to tell you. We made a really big mistake. We put all of our T-posts in the wrong way, at least for the electric fencing insulators that attach to those T-posts. So we had to go through and pull up every single one of them and then reinstall them. A friend of ours' son came and helped me with that, and so that definitely helped. So Nate, if you're seeing this, thank you very much for your help. I do appreciate that. That being said, this is the first time I've ever put up electric. So if you guys see anything that I'm doing that probably should be done different or could be improved upon, please let me know. I am open to all of those suggestions because I'm kind of figuring it out and learning it as I go. This is our gate. I don't want our electric to cross the gate because from what I was told from Ben, the guy that we bought our pigs from, if you have electric going across the gate, when it comes time to get the pigs out for taking them to the processor, then they're really hesitant because they've already learned that that's not an area they can cross. So I do want to leave that open. I don't think it's going to be an issue. The way we attach this gate, they can't lift it off the hinges or anything like that. So what we're going to do is wrap it around this post. So I bought Insa tube, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Insul tube. It's basically insulation for electrical wire without the electrical wire in it. So you just feed the wire through, and then we'll wrap this around that post so the post doesn't create any kind of draw off of that electrical wire. So I've started pulling it, but I need to grab a little helper because the tension's getting a little too much for me to get it to turn. So here's my helper now, right on cue. Hey Mo.
Hi.
All right, so what I need you to do is turn this as I pull it. Actually, just keep turning it.
Okay.
All right, so this is what I was trying to explain earlier. Basically, just use the insulator around the wire to tie it off to the post. We have not pulled the tension on this thing yet. I've got to get the actual handle to pull these things tight. But this is how we're ending it on either side of the gate. So I'm going to show you the crank that we are using, which will tighten this and get a lot of tension on this so that we lose a lot of that slack in there. So there's a couple of different ways you can use these things. The way that we are going to do it is cut the wire where we need to put one of these. We will put it through this hole right here, double it back on itself, and then you can see the crank has a hole through the middle. You then put the other side of the wire through that, you loop it back around, tie it off on itself, and then this thing just kind of cranks to tighten. It's pretty basic. It gets a lot of tension on it, so you lose all that slack. It pulls it up off the ground. The last thing I want to say about these that I did not realize when I bought these is you have to have a handle to tighten these things. So we still have to get that. They do make some where this piece right here is a square, and those you can actually just use a crescent wrench to tighten them down. So I may actually be taking these back and exchanging them for ones that have the square ends to them so that then I don't have to buy the handle. So the other thing that I wanted to show you guys was the insulators. And the reason I wanted to show all of this is because I had a really hard time finding any kind of video that really explained it well. So not that I'm explaining it great, but here we go. So these are the T-post insulators. So this is what I was talking about with the T-post. We had all of our T-posts facing the other way. These things only work one direction. So we had to pull them all up, flip them around so it would work. These guys really just hook around the backside and then they hook right here and they hold on there pretty tight. Now they do have ones that have extenders that will hold this off farther from the fence. The guy that we got our pigs from said that he doesn't recommend those just because if the wire gets bumped hard or anything, they tend to break because they are made of fairly cheap plastic. This is keeping it off the fence enough. Now it is running it right along the fence, but it should be good, especially once we get that tension put on it. Now on the wood post, it's a different insulator, which I'll show you now. Wood post, we use something that's almost like an eye hook, but it does have a space in here where you can slide that wire down in there just to make it easier to get it in there. It screws into the wood post and then the wire just runs right through it. This really is basic. I kind of do see why there wasn't a detailed how-to, but I'm a visual guy, so I like to have all the details. We just pulled the wire, we got it as tight as we could, ran it through all the insulators, and got it tied off. The last thing is to tighten it, like I said, and then to hook it up and let it go live. We are fortunate enough to where we can use an AC charger. Basically it's just one that plugs straight in. So we're not having to rely on a battery and we're not having to rely on solar, which I'm very thankful for because those can go out without you knowing it, just a little bit more unpredictable. So ours is gonna plug in. So we'll go look at that next, and that will pretty much be it for the electric fence. All right, so I just picked this up at Tractor Supply. This is the AC charger, electric fence controller. I have not hooked it up, obviously, but the hookup is really easy. If you know anything about electrical stuff, which hopefully you know a little bit if you're installing an electric fence, you put your live wire on the red, your ground is on the green. You do have to have at least 3 grounding rods 10 feet apart. This does a really good job of explaining all of that. One tip, you may not know this, or you may know this, if you're using just like steel wire, which is the most common for electric fence, you want steel grounding rods. You do not want to use copper like you would on a house or something like that. House use copper wire, so you put copper on copper. It's good to use the same type of metal. So I've got the grounding rods behind me and got to drive these things and then attach it, hook it up. Attach it, hook it up, and then, like I said, we'll be good to go. So what I'll do is run an insulated wire from that live wire and then connect it to the fence.
Okay, so we are here with our pigs. They're in a little enclosure behind us. I don't know if you have chickens, but one of the things that you need to do if you have free range chickens is you need to home them. Pigs are similar. We need to create a home base for them, and you do that by actually sectioning off a small section that becomes their safe place and their home base. So they have to stay in there for 72 hours ish. And just kind of get comfortable in their new environment. So that's what they're doing right now. And then we are very anxious to give them free reign of this giant space they have.
I love this space behind you guys that you can't see.
Yes. And they're anxious too. But this is a very important step we didn't want to skip.
There are like wrong and right ways to set up a pig pen if you've got the space to really do that. But we'll talk about that in another video once these guys kind of get out, get acclimated, and establish their areas in the pen.
Yeah. So we're really excited to have these guys on the homestead. If you have followed us, you might remember that we wanted to get pigs last year.
Yep.
But then we got this surprise phone call about Chuck, and we didn't want to say no, and we didn't want to bite off more than we could chew with 2 brand new livestock animals on the homestead. So we have been waiting for these guys for a long time. So we're excited to show you how they get acclimated here and how much fun they are. These pigs are very sweet. They've been really enjoying getting scratches.
Yeah, I am quickly becoming like a crazy pig person. I mean, I think that's the case every time you bring a new animal on. It's exciting, but these guys really are a lot of fun. I'm going to link the farm that we got these guys from. I would strongly recommend any of you guys who are considering to getting pigs to check them out. They have just done a really good job. They do everything as naturally as possible and really take the steps to ensure that they are breeding and raising very hardy stock. And so I was very, very impressed with Ben and his family, but just the operation that he is running. So they do not have a YouTube channel, but they do have Instagram. So I will link that in the description below. Right now, though, I think it's time for highs and lows.
Yay!
So I'll go first this week. My highs, the pigs. I don't think that's any surprise. It's just been, like Cass said, a long time coming, and it's really exciting to finally have them and to watch them. They're so much fun, just to sit and watch. My low, I think, would be, I was going to say the tree falling on the fence, but that was actually a huge blessing, because had it happened after we had the pigs, that would have been a pain, and the pigs potentially could have escaped. So I think my low would be feeling just the pressure and a little bit overwhelmed with trying to get everything ready for the pigs this weekend. You know, not having to have it fully ready by this weekend did help to take some pressure off. I realized that about halfway through the week that, hey, they're going to be in this holding area. I don't have to have the electric fence completely done. It just needs to be almost done. And so over the next day or two, we'll work on getting that hooked up and getting them just secure in here before we release them to have free reign.
Yeah.
But what about you?
So my high was probably, well, my birthday was Friday, so that was fun.
That was a high of mine. I just wasn't going to steal it from her.
Yeah. So that was good. That was a fun day. Jeremy made me a very special breakfast, and we went to an amazing restaurant for dinner. So it was just a nice, relaxing day. I kind of gave myself the day off. We didn't do school. It was
Teacher
just fun.
playing hooky.
Yes.
That's okay when it's your birthday.
Yes. And then I actually had 2 highs too because the pigs.
Yes.
Like, how could that not be a high, getting the pigs? My low was actually that I couldn't go with Jeremy to pick up the pigs. It was a 2-hour drive one way from our location, so I just felt like to make the kids be in the car for 4 hours
on a weekday.
Unnecessarily on a weekend. Yes, and we just drove that last weekend. So I just felt like it wasn't really fair to them, even though I really wanted to go. So I stayed home because I was not going to drive those pigs home by myself.
Yeah, and it was just, I mean, it was a quick, like, go up, pick them up, come right back. So
yeah.
That is all that we have for you guys this weekend. As always, thank you so much for following along. We thank you to all of you who have subscribed and become part of our little YouTube family. That's really what we kind of see it as.
Yeah.
We have just really enjoyed doing this and hope you guys have enjoyed following along our adventures, our journey, our mistakes, and even some lessons that we're throwing out there and teaching you guys. So be sure to give this a thumbs up if you like this material. We will probably be throwing some more pig videos your way.
Definitely.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Right? So,
Thank you.
but you guys have a great week and be blessed.